Laws govern everyday life. The legal system exists to provide justice to everyone. Attorneys are there to serve. If bankruptcy looms, if the police come knocking on your door, if your constitutional rights have been violated, or if you or a loved one have been injured through no fault of your own, we depend on them to defend our rights. Many are intimidated by the complexities of the law. Our mission is to help you navigate the legal system, to provide you with news you can use on Talking Law TV.
Hello, I'm Michael Short, your host here on Talking Law TV. We've got a great episode for you this week. We have Doug Andrews talking about common law marriage and common law divorce. Christy Register will explain the benefits of filing Chapter 13, and we'll be answering your questions with viewer mail in our third segment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Who defends the Constitution when somebody challenges its authority? For more than 200 years, our courts and the judges, juries, and lawyers who serve justice every day have protected American freedoms by upholding the Constitution as the highest law in the land. America won't work without fair and impartial courts. State Bar of Georgia. Lawyers dedicated to the Constitution's promise of justice for all.
Leave your legal question for us on our toll-free law line at 888-203-7-LAW.
And welcome back to more Talking Law TV. I'm Michael Short, and we're here with Doug Andrews. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Michael.
Did you have a great week?
I did, and you?
I'm excellent.
Good.
And today we're going to talk about common law marriages and I guess what follows that half the time, like in regular marriages, common law divorces. So everyone starts out a little happy when our couple here. And explain what exactly is a common law marriage.
Well, at the risk that Pamela may get upset with me, but let me say that many relationships are ruined by a good marriage. Not ours, of course. We just celebrated 41 years, so we're happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Common law marriage is back in the day when people didn't have courthouses nearby or people to marry them, so they just lived together as husband and wife. It's common law. And if you lived that way and everybody believed you were married because you intended to be married and you held yourselves out as being married, and this is my wife, not my old lady, but this is my wife, he's my old man or husband, then it was commonly believed they were married. Well, it's a common law marriage.
Is it recognized by the state? Does Georgia say, okay, you're married?
Absolutely. Until January 1, 1997, forming a common law marriage was legal within the state of Georgia. On and after January 1, 1997, Georgia enacted a law that said no longer can you enter into a common law marriage in the state of Georgia. So if you were common law married prior to that, it's still valid. The interesting question comes in, what if somebody entered into one in the year 2000 in Ohio, common law married in Ohio, and then move here? And so that marriage was formed after 1997, but not formed in Georgia. Would that be valid in Georgia?
I have no idea.
Absolutely, in my humble opinion, because of the full faith and credit clause of the United States Constitution, which will trump state law. Meaning, if a marriage is valid where contracted in Ohio in 2000, every state has a duty under the full faith and credit clause to honor it. So I would submit to you, if you can prove it was done in Ohio, it would be valid here.
Which leads me to my next photograph. Some states recognize same-sex marriages. So can you be common law married in same-sex, or if you are legally married in another state, same-sex, does Georgia have to recognize it under the same law that you just said?
Did you stay up all night thinking
I
about
did.
that
This was
one?
my surprise for you, Doug.
Well, there is a statutory prohibition, prohibits same-sex marriage. They put that in a bill a year or two ago. So until or unless a court of appeals or the Georgia Supreme Court holds it unconstitutional, if they do, it's not going to be recognized by anybody in Georgia because they're going to attempt to follow the law until it's ruled unconstitutional. That's my view.
Now, what about that window, though, between the 97 and 2000?
No, just the same-sex part kills it.
Okay.
Whether it's ceremonial or common law, either one, the statute prohibits it.
Okay. So that's how you become common law married. What happens when the commonality drops out of the common law married part?
Well,
and
it's really
it's
easy.
time for our common law divorce.
It's really easy. You've heard this before. You turn in circle 3 times, say, I divorce thee, I divorce thee, I divorce thee. Not. If you are married, regardless of how that occurred, you must go through the statutory provision for divorce, because divorce is a creature of statute only. There really wasn't a common law divorce. There is none now, if there ever was.
Now, is this where palimony kicks in?
You have some good questions today. Sort of, but not really, because palimony was not based upon a marriage. It was just being pals.
Really, really good pals.
Well, and there's a difference between common law married living together and shacking up. And that's kind of the difference between involvement and commitment. You've heard that story about the chicken is involved with the egg, the hog is committed to the bacon.
Absolutely.
Right, so there's a difference between involved and committed. So committed is married. Palimony is just involved. So there's a substantial legal difference between the two, and we don't recognize palimony.
Now what about going back to the common law marriage part? If you're common law married, are you allowed to have spousal rights in hospitals, insurance payments, and so forth?
A common law marriage is valid for all purposes of any marriage. The difficulty is in proving to the satisfaction now with HIPAA, Health Information Portability Protection Act, medical releases, getting people to recognize you're married, but generally they don't ask those who are ceremonial married to come in and show your marriage certificate. You just say, well, I'm his wife. And if you've adopted the last name, it makes it a little easier. But now it'd be a little tougher to get your driver's license. If you were common law married in 1990, you could probably get your name changed for your driver's license to reflect both similar names. You know, a lot now of folks who are getting marriage licenses will mark the block in the probate court and say, no, I'm keeping my own last name. And I had a case where the husband changed his name to be that of the wife, liked it better. So either spouse, we're equal opportunity now, you could either adopt or not adopt your spouse's last name, but you make that decision on the application form.
So what about a common law marriage and then divorce and common law child support?
The same statutory guidelines are going to apply, but you asked me, what does it take to get the common law marriage? It's similar to a regular marriage in the sense that you have to first have 2 people that are able to form the contract of marriage. It is a contract. So you have to be not married to somebody else at the moment. We have a case in the office recently where that was the issue in divorce. The husband says, can't divorce me. She was married when we got married, so she actually committed bigamy. That makes that supposed current marriage invalid. So there's no divorce going to happen. If he's right, she denies it.
Could you be a common law polygamist?
Good question. I suppose it could be proven, and you saw that in the entertainer, James Brown, I think. He had some issues as to how many wives or who or when or what kids. So it can come up, but you have to have the ability to legally enter into a marriage, which means you're not then married, insane, or underage, and then you have to actually enter into the contract, and then you have to consummate it. Cohabitation is what they usually mean for common law marriage.
Okay. And if someone is common law married and wanting a common law divorce, do they come see common law Doug?
They do. They can go see any competent family law attorney, and the process is virtually the same. But we are handling a case now where the issue is, were they or were they not common law married? What's interesting is on their tax returns, they filed jointly married. But to get some health insurance benefits, she marked single, which is true.
Is one of those fraud?
Could be. We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Okay, we'll ask you more about that later. But next up, we have Christy Register talking about the benefits of filing for Chapter 13, which may impact your subject. We'll be right back after this.